Okay,
This conference will now be recorded.
so it's 5:30 on February 9th, 2021, and I'm calling the meeting of the Economic and Community Development Commission to order. First order of business is to approve the minutes that were distributed. Is there a motion to approve the minutes, please?
Yeah, I will motion
I'll
to
make a
approve
motion.
the January 12th minutes.
Okay, that's Mark, and was that Jen seconding? Okay, seconded by Jen. Thank you. Mary, if you could give the economic development report, that would be great.
Okay. So I'll start with Stratford Strong. We still meet monthly. The small business resource meets once a month on a Thursday, and the basic needs meets once a month on a Wednesday. The biggest thing that we're working on now, besides food, hold on, I'm sorry. Besides food, needs in the community that Tammy is working on her end are the CDBG microenterprise grants. So far, as of last week, we had received 42 businesses. The Community Development Administrator, Chris Mandecki, has reviewed 21 of those. And I just might add that reviewing them is almost a half-day process. So just so you understand the length of time it takes for him to review these, because he has to go through all types of financial data. Hi, Dan. Of the 21 that were reviewed, 5 were denied because they did not fall within the micro enterprise criteria. They had too many people that work for them or whatever the reason was. And so far, 3 have been approved. And initially, we were going to hand out 2,500 grants in dollars. We decided to up that to 5,000 because we're not getting as many, and and the approvals are less, and we have this money, and these businesses could use that 5,000. That will go like that. That will pay, if they're lucky, 2 months rent, or it'll go towards utilities or PPE. So it's much needed. So anyway, that's where we're at with the CDBG. The Connecticut Cares.
Hey, Mary?
Yeah, sure.
On that issue, just a sidebar, but I was getting my hair cut from a small barbershop in Stratford, and he wasn't really aware of these micro grants, and I'm just wondering if there's a way to get this information to small businesses that might not really be on the internet and in connection with information, like a distribution of brochures or something. I don't know. I'm just wondering, Jim, if there's an.
We have every barber listed. Can you tell me which one it is?
I was talking to Brett Hirschbeck. You know Brett?
Yeah, and does he look at his emails, or he doesn't?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Is do you think you have email contacts for all these small businesses?
Yeah, we have telephone, email, but we will do we'll do another phone call. But Karen Sportini has really done a yeoman's job of collecting, the barbershops and salons. And the other thing that we've done, besides in case we could miss, is the health department has a site called Everbridge, and that includes all the salons and barbers, and we use that. So there is no, unless he's not reading his emails, everybody should have it.
Well, I just wanted to make sure the outreach was good on getting to these businesses and making sure they know about the program. I mean, if someone really isn't just reading emails or mail, then that's kind of their own fault. But
yeah, and then
if I could just echo what Mary said, out of the towns that I've been working with and dealing with, Karen Sportini and the Economic Development Office in Stratford has been like aces when it comes to outreach. I mean, they've been making phone calls and everything. And the reality is a lot of the smaller businesses, they're running their shop and they just don't check their messages, their emails.
Right.
But I hat tip to Karen and Mary and their team, because everyone I talk to in Stratford always like, oh yeah, Karen called us. I'm like, perfect. So they're doing a bang up job.
Is this something
that's good.
that may help us with?
What, Randy?
What's that?
Is this something that the Chamber of Commerce may help in terms of communication vehicle to their members?
Well, Randy, they use email.
Oh, cancel that
So,
thought.
yeah, Dan does a lot of, backs us up and sends everything out. But again, it's email.
Okay. All right. It sounds like the outreach, we're making every effort. At some point, it does become the business owner's responsibility to stay in touch. So, okay.
We will certainly, I'll certainly reach out to Brett or have Karen Doyle do it to see if he wants to do the enterprise. So maybe, we can just touch base with him directly, and we'll make sure we do that, because there are some that we know, like Anna Scala, she is not on email, so we have to call her. But it's hard because so often all the work is done via email when you're applying for things.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to have some computer ability.
And for this grant, the application process is not that arduous, is it? Or how long does it take to actually apply?
The Connecticut CARES was not that arduous. That was the one that was through the state, was a one-page application. This one is quite arduous because it's HUD.
Okay.
So it does take time, but Karen Doyle and Chris Bandecki will walk people through it, whatever they need.
Okay.
But it's not the easiest thing, but I'll let Karen know. What is the name of his shop, Jim?
I don't know. He's on he's
I know
on
where
that
he's
side
located.
street. Yeah. I forget the name of his shop.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So I just talked about Connecticut Care Small Business. I had literally been told by Lindy Gold that there would be an Excel spreadsheet that would allow us to know who the recipients of the grants were. So Karen followed up with one of our connections at DECD today, and he sounded like that was probably not going to happen. He was going to look into it. And we're really disappointed because, we have grants from other places. MetroCog donated $250,000 when they weren't having a Christmas party. UI gave us a grant for $2,500. This money that we would like to use for the businesses that didn't get the CARES or the micro enterprise. And without having that information, it's just hard to decipher what the needs are. So Karen's going to follow up, and we're going to see if they can provide some data to us over at DECD. So the former center school property, we started working through the draft for the RFP. And we're working with MetroCog again this time, and it's wonderful to work with them because they're so knowledgeable about what we want, what's going on in the town. They're just really an asset to us, and we're hoping, our goal is to have the RFP go out in February, the end of February. The Army engine plant, I spoke to Deep yesterday, and Deep and EPA provided a final round of comments on the record of decision about 2 weeks ago. And they project the release of the final document will be this week. And once they have it in-house, they're requesting a 2-week turnaround. So we should be very close to getting that record of decision the end of February. I'll keep you posted on that. Did somebody ask something? Okay. The Shakespeare property at the RDA meeting in January, we followed up on the discussion we'd had on the outcome of the subcommittee for the Shakespeare property subcommittee, and the RDA. They didn't give a timeline for an RFP there because they're overseeing multiple properties, and you all know better than anyone, Center School, contract plating, Army Engine site. They're all on the cusp right now of moving forward. So and also the fact that at this point, any development that would happen, the town cannot afford a capital investment at this point because they are a number of tax deferments are being offered to residents and businesses who have struggled financially as a result of the pandemic. And the finance department and the mayor's office believe that the number will probably triple in the amount that will be asked to be deferred as compared to the fall. Because it's 1 year. It's now we're into a year. But we were very excited about the Shakespeare Market. We reported the first one was January 17th, and Tom Dillon thought that there were as many as 3,000 people that attended. We have, in light of that, and in light of the fact that there were probably 77 vendors that wanted to be part of it, we decided to expand it to both days of the weekend when it's running. So this past weekend, when it was just going to be held on Sunday, we made it Saturday, and Tom added the same number of vendors that would have been there Sunday, as well as food trucks. And we were lucky we did that because Sunday there couldn't be a market because of the weather. And Tom thought he counted probably about 600 to 800 people attending on Saturday. And it was a beautiful day and really good vendors. So if you haven't taken a stroll over there, it's a great way to be socially distant and support some of the small business vendors that are out there. So that's been great to be able to showcase the Shakespeare property. And
hey, Mary.
Yeah, we went Saturday.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
Is there any, and hey guys, this is Colin Kennedy. Sorry for joining late there. Is there any plan or thought about maybe increasing the frequency instead of just, because right now it's just once a month, right? It's the first weekend of every month.
No, it's twice a month. And
twice a month, okay.
It's twice a month, and now it's increased to both days of the weekend. Kristen had reached out to me. I sent her email to Tom Dillon because she mentioned the interest in Two Roads being at the market. And now that we've doubled the days, there's a better chance that we can get more vendors in there, which is great.
Great. Awesome.
And each time we do it, we figure out a better way, to set it up and to, figure things out. So
plus the weather's cold, right? I mean, the weather warms up.
Yes, Saturday was beautiful. Saturday was crisp and cold, but sunny, and it was beautiful. You just wore a hat and bundled up and strolled around. It was really nice.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it was actually pretty enjoyable because the sun was out and it wasn't very windy.
It wasn't too windy.
Yeah, we ended up grabbing lunch from one of the food trucks. We went and sat
at
one
of the
picnic tables, and it was nice.
Yeah, I think people are desperate just to find some things to do outside, right now. Complete Streets, tomorrow morning, planning and zoning, engineering, economic development, and MetroCog, we're doing a virtual meeting with DOT on the 60% design. We just want to make sure before we send it into DOT that there isn't anything glaring that we're missing or they'd like to see. So we thought it would be best to kind of do this virtual meeting. And then if they say, oh, change this or that, we'll do it. And then we'll send it off knowing that it will most likely be signed off immediately by DOT. Nuovo Pasta. I had a long meeting with Carl Zanelli and Tom Quinn. They are really expanding their footprint. They purchased the building next door. It's 2 condos, and they purchased one half. They are going to be expanding their, adding on an addition to their main facility. And prior to that, they are going to be redoing the whole Trev's building. I don't know if you remember, about a year ago, they bought, or they leased, got a 10-year lease on the Trev's building that used to be a McDonald's distribution center. So they are there now, and they're expanding refrigeration and everything there so that they can just, keep their products going. They have literally been asked by like Sam's Club and multiple other groceries if they can expand their footprint, and they need to bring in more production lines. So once they expand at the Trev's building, they'll add a production line in their main building with the addition. So they're growing by leaps and bounds, which is just wonderful, wonderful to see. Contract plating, Kelly and I are in the midst of editing the marketing recommendation done by Adapta, because the town has decided that we would like to be able to market both the contract plating site, which is a little over 10 acres, as well as the ball field at Raymark. So this would expand the developable property to 17 acres. And the ball field, it will be very high when it's capped. So we're looking at nothing more than a 2-story building there, because we don't want it to overwhelm the neighborhood. So maybe that would be the building side, the office side of it. And then because the contract plating site is below, there's a wall and all the homes are on the other side, that can be more stories and industrial space. And Randy, I had emailed it to you when you have a chance. I wanted our resident commercial broker to take a look at it and give us your take on what you thought of it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Randy, what?
I'll be happy to do that.
Okay, I'll resend it to you. 608 Ferry Boulevard. I was talking to Biagio yesterday, and that is the building that was vacant forever, and next to those condos, right on the end of Ferry Boulevard. He has the 7-year lease with the wealth management company and has the upstairs residential units completely rented, with 80% people have moved in. So that was really good news to hear. And then the housing partnership, which I have on here. Jen, do you want to, I don't know if I'm skipping things on you. Do you want
Mary,
to, that's under old business, never mind.
Mary, can you just go back 1 second and talk about the project that was in the Connecticut Post the other day next to Biagio's in Ryder's Landing?
I'm sorry, I meant to mention that. So I think last month I had filled you in on the fact that the Starbucks was going to go through zoning and be approved, and that will be the first part of the project. And then their goal was to do, the museum, the Merit Museum, a upper scale small hotel, and then retail space. And it was in the Connecticut Post last weekend. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Karen Sportini, we decided every Friday to send you just the whatever media, whatever's been out there, instead of sending them, throughout the week, just take Fridays and send you like a package of whatever went out. So that will be included in. And I was saying to the mayor yesterday, it made me feel like maybe we're that much closer to it actually happening now that it's been in the paper.
Well, what do you think it will happen? And if it's so, when would they, what has to happen in order for it to happen?
I think that it's probably, Ryder's Landing needs to probably want to see maybe someone come forward for the retail space. And I know they're in conversations now with some hotel chains. They would be more, what is the word for the small kind of hotel chains? There's a word for them.
Like
It's
the
not
garden
like a,
type,
it wouldn't be, pardon?
like Hilton Gardens or that kind of a thing.
No, no, no. More like, you know, the one that's in Southport on the Post
Like a
Road.
boutique.
Delmar.
Delmar?
Delmar.
Talking
Yeah,
about
Yeah, like
Delmar?
that,
like a boutique stuff.
yeah, like that kind of place, you know, where there would be it would be on the water, and they're planning on, you know, having the greenway and back and the waterfront a walkway. So it sounds really lovely, and the fact that we have you know, finished the project on Route 110 is helpful, because now that's, you know, now it's just extending it. So you know, this will be good preparation for any kind of project that they have going there. So I would say anything that was going to get started, probably other than the Starbucks, won't get started till 2022, Jim.
Okay. I think that would be a
Sounds
great
like a long way off,
development
but
project for that
2022
area.
is going to go by quick. It's going to get here quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Okay.
Okay, that's it, unless if anybody has any questions.
Are there any questions for Mary?
Anybody has any questions?
Okay. So Mary, next on the agenda is an update on the video production, the marketing videos.
So Karen and I sat down and really thought about what we wanted to be included in a day of filming. And it was our intent to do filming this week with Steve. But I think it's going to be a hard week for us to do that. We haven't heard back from him on that. And, you know, it's a short week in town hall because we're the only people in the world that have off on Lincoln's birthday on Friday. So, and with the weather, I just don't know. So it might be pushed back to next week, but we're trying to move forward and get it going so that if the mayor wants to use it on any type of, you know, state of the town with the BRBC, she can do that. She can do that. So we're looking at, you know, trying to have it done by the end of March.
The town holiday for the town hall is this Friday. Ours is next Monday.
We're recognizing Lincoln and Washington separately. So we have both Friday and Monday off.
Oh, that's a lucky draw,
Any
Mary.
job openings over there, Mary?
It's nice. It just happened to fall on a Friday.
Nice. All right. So then, Jen, could you give us an up? Right. On the housing partnership?
Yeah, I don't really have any update on the housing partnership. We haven't met yet. Our meeting is actually Thursday.
Yeah.
So we haven't had a meeting since the last time all of us met. So more to come on that.
Jen, aren't we we're looking at having the full report available to move forward within a year of when it started, right? By April?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that our goal is to have the report done in April to share with the other with zoning and the other and town council and things like that. So it'll be wrapping up, that portion of it will be wrapping up soon. I think we have like weekly or bi-weekly meetings scheduled after, you know, starting later this month. So
Okay.
Right.
All right. Thanks,
it's
Jen.
going in and out, so sorry about that.
Okay, we've already updated on the winter market and the small business grants. is concerned, I don't see any other specific items. Is there any old business anyone wants to bring up?
I think Randy wanted to mention a presentation that we had at our RDA meeting, a company called Vessel Technologies. Randy, do you feel like kind of giving a little summary of what they were like?
Well, these are really cliff notes. Vessel is a company that does multifamily modular housing using steel construction techniques, and their goal is to meet a certain market called affordable housing, and they are now looking for sites within the state of Connecticut. There's 6 towns that they're looking at. Stratford's one of them. Their criteria is, I don't want to use the word strict, limiting. It's a smaller footprint, and of course, land availability in Fairfield County, and specifically Stratford's no different. It's very limited. But they're actively in the hunt. I've had a couple of conversations with them, and I told them that I would help them in areas that I really don't practice in for this type of a requirement. And I sent them quite a few folks within those towns, such as Manchester, Farmington, and so forth, that they could reach out to who are better suited to take care of them. So that's where we're at the moment, but it's a matter of finding a site for them. And in Stratford, basically, so far I only came up with one that meets their criteria, but that's not to say there won't be more. I can't hear you.
Yeah, Mary, I think you're muted.
You put the muffler on, Mary.
So they're prefab buildings that
Right.
are energy efficient, and they're perfect for seniors, because they're just they're very efficient. They're 1 and 2 bedroom, right, Randy? And they have different footprints. They can either be 2, 3, or 4 story. They get built quickly, and what they do is they find a managing company or someone to manage the buildings. Correct, Randy? They kind of build them.
These buildings, by the way, are architecturally very pleasing. I mean, they're beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't think about it. You wouldn't assume that it's a steel building, so it can't be anything other than a steel box. Far from the truth. It's a remarkable achievement, not only in technology but in design.
And in the right setting, it could really be. I just picture it being a great a spot for an active 55 and older, or that like, let's say you have your place in Florida or wherever, and you still want your place up in Connecticut. It's that place that's not a lot to deal with, and you have you have your place that you can stay when you're up here. It's just a really
There's really a market, a broad market. It meets several needs, not only affordable, but second home kind of. The market is red hot for that, by the way. And it's a very limited supply. So timing is beautiful.
I think they're working trying to get something going in Shelton too, Randy.
That's not what I'm not aware of that.
Oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe they were just trying and they didn't get anywhere. Okay.
Randy,
so anyway,
where's the location? Where's the location in Stratford that does meet their needs?
There's one that Ray Martin has a listing over on Broadbridge. And
Broadbridge, okay.
Yeah, it used to be a former gas station site. It's been cleaned up. Looks like we can get up they can get up to about 10,000 square feet with an engineered, obviously it's subject to regulatory.
We're thinking of another. I'm thinking of another spot too. That would be just an ideal for senior 55 and over. So yeah, I'm talking with the mayor about it, and we're just seeing if it's something we can pursue. So
Well,
yeah.
if you reach out to me, I'll share with you what Josh outlined to me as their criteria, both in terms of size and cost.
Okay. But it's exciting. It's different.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. What else? Any other old business or new business? We were talking before about. Oh, go ahead. Who's that?
That's me, Jim. If I could, I just wanted to add, I guess, on a new business, just for your information than anything else. And Mary, I'm not sure if you made the last regional economic development call that we hosted last Friday or the Friday before. I forget. These days kind of run into each other. But at any rate, one of the things that we've been hearing, and even Rena up in Trumbull, has been on the 5G network stuff that's going on. And there's a little bit of rumbling that we're hearing, some noise related to, the health concerns around 5G and all that. So MetroCog, the guys from MetroCog are going to do a little bit of digging and research, just so we can put together some data around the benefits of 5G and all that stuff for business particularly. But I also invited John Emra, who's the president of AT&T New England and Connecticut, to connect with MetroCog to help them with their research. But it's just something that I've heard a little bit of noise on, and Rena kind of followed it up on our last call. I'm not sure if you've been hearing anything, Mary, on just the 5G infrastructure stuff that's going on. There's some groups going around, concerned about the health impact with 5G technology. So we thought, let's get ahead of it if we could. We've got a resource since AT&T's on our board. Let's leverage them and see if we can put some data points together on the benefits from an economic development perspective, and then see what conversation we can spark up related to the health concerns. Because I don't think there's any scientific proof of anything that's been official related to it, but let's at least talk about it and and do our part in informing the community on it.
That's a great idea, because I mean, so coming from the technology side of things on it, it's all conspiracy theory type of stuff on the health concerns portion of it, and I know it's a big push of the governor to get that rolling throughout the state, especially down the coastline where all the bigger businesses areas are, and it does greatly benefit. I mean, outside of benefiting businesses, obviously. Consumer cellular also having kind of most of the cellular infrastructure in Connecticut's pretty old at this point.
Yeah, I mean, having strong internet is huge for business, and especially in this environment, right? And so you think the health concerns, Mark, are that's more on like just not real information? I mean,
yeah,
is there really any?
I mean, for Barb, lack of better term for this, it's kind of like it's fake news, the whole health concerns portion of it. And that'll be good for them to do that research and show that to the public, because there is like actual medical research that was done that's published too that shows that that is not true. So I think that'll help quell some of the residences around the area's concerns, because you hear and see about the other thing, like especially when the pandemic started, there was people trying to burn down new 5G cell phone towers in certain areas of the country, and there's just more. I think there's definitely more benefit than anything to have that technology, especially. I think we're going to see a lot more people continue to work from home and work remotely, et cetera. And, and then the big thing on the infrastructure side, instead of having with 5G versus having to run new lines, like having Frontier or Optimum run new lines, it's a lot easier because you can get those same speeds with the new wireless technology and not have to spend as much money on infrastructure and digging up roads and telephone poles, etc.
Right. Okay. Good. Any other business, new or old? So we're going to continue to have these meetings virtually, at least until probably June or the summer when the vaccines hopefully take hold. The next meeting is scheduled for March 9th. And any of these in-person meetings that we've had where we've had the commissions and so on get together, hopefully we can do that in the fall. And I think we should just kind of table that for maybe April or May to get a date on the calendar for maybe October, something like that. But we can talk about that to see if hopefully by then we can start having meetings again with groups.
I'm sure the restaurants will appreciate. Oh, go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
I said, is Jim going to host it at his house and crack open one of those bottles of wine behind you?
Sure, Dan. You got it, pal. All right. Any other questions, comments, anything? Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Jim, just real quick. Sorry, I just thought of it. So just the next week and into the following week, the YMCA is going to start doing some community forums on getting some input on building a new YMCA. So I worked with Karen Sportini and got some names besides Mary and herself joining any of the meetings, but just a couple other people from in town. So we've invited some kind of key stakeholders and other people from throughout the community to join those meetings. And that's kind of going to be our first step for, what does the community want to see in the new building? Do they want a gymnasium in the Y and or a bigger pool, et cetera, et cetera. So those are going to start kicking off next week.
That's exciting.
Okay. Yeah, that is exciting. The capital campaign hasn't officially been kicked off yet.
No, and I just not that it's huge news or anything, but I just took over. As of February, I am the chairman of the board for the Y now.
Congratulations!
Good for you, Mark.
Thank you.
Congrats.
So I will, So this is going to be the first step. Then we have a lot of money to raise after that. So after we figure out what we actually want to do with the space, the good thing is I've got a couple of people that I'm going to go after outside of Stratford, because I think everybody's kind of tapped all the wells of everybody in town. So I'm going to go after some bigger businesses that we do work with directly that are in Connecticut, and see if they can help out with at least a chunk of the money.
Great. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Randy, thanks. So it's 8. All right, everyone. We'll see you on March 9th.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.